Hey guys, Babu Suresh again here. We are here to talk about our workshop number 3 to do the end-to-end application based on our workshop number 1 and workshop number 2. If you have not listened to those, please go to my channel link and you will find the workshop number 1 and workshop number 2. Listen to those and then come back here to have some continuation. Before we begin, I would like to share a brief disclaimer to provide context for this video. Please take a moment to read it fully before proceeding. Today we are going to learn how to do the hands-on demo for end-to-end application based on the workshop 1 and workshop 2. So we'll be mixing our technologies of Lambda, API Gateway, and Streamlit. So this is the topology which we wanted to talk. We have been talking. The blue box is based on the workshop 1. Yellow box is based on the workshop 2. In this workshop number 3, we are going to build Lambda, API Gateway, and the browser so that if you can run it from the browser, it should tap our Bedrock application like a typical user out there from the public. So that's what we are going to be doing today. Let us jump onto the AWS console. So what you're looking is the AWS console Lambda screen. We are going to create a Lambda function here. Before we create Lambda function, let's go and create one IAM role for Lambda. So let us create one quick role here. I'm going to create one, create a role. And again, we will have our naming standard today. What is the naming standard today? Let's put this prefix WS3 9H. That will be our prefix for today's session. So this service is a Lambda service. So we'll choose the Lambda and click next. And what kind of permissions we are going to give for this Lambda role? This Lambda needs to access Bedrock. This is the Bedrock access I'm giving. So here we are going to give this permission, Bedrock access permission, and then we will click next. And we need to give the name, and we will say this is a role for Lambda to access Bedrock. So that's a role we are creating now. And we will choose the default and create the role. So we have created the role. Let's go and create the Lambda function. So I'm in the Lambda screen. Click the create function here. And we are starting from scratch. And the Lambda function name is, we will name it as, this is my Lambda function. And the function which we are going to create is a Python program. So we will choose the Python. Scroll down, and in terms of the execution role, we just created one. Let's attach that execution role here, which is the WS3. And in the additional configuration, we are going to take the default. We will create function here. So the Lambda function is created now. Let us go and copy and bring our code here. So the code which we are going to bring is from my laptop. Let me show the code from my laptop. So I'm going to delete this code. Whatever is created by default, I'm deleting it. Let us go to my laptop and then bring the Lambda function. So I'm opening the Lambda function from my laptop. So I'm going to upload this code to the GitHub, guys, but essentially, this is a Lambda function which is going to call the Bedrock. We need to change a few parameters here. I'll show what the parameters we are going to change, only 3 parameters. So these are the 3 parameters which we'll be changing here. So first one is what is our knowledge base ID? That's number 1. The second one is what is our LLM engine ID. The third one is what region we are in. So these are the 3 parameters we have to change in order for this program to work. So let us go and find out our knowledge base ID. If you come back to Bedrock, we created a few knowledge bases here. So let us open the one which we recently created, which is the workshop 2. If you open the workshop 2, there's a knowledge base ID here. Let's copy this guy. We have copied it, which starts in X, ends in K0. Let us go and put the value here. I paste it, starts with an X, ends in K0. So that is our knowledge base. Essentially, we are going to call the knowledge base with structured data store, which we recently created. And the next one is we have to attach the model ID for the foundation model. So let us find out which model we are going to use first, and then we will identify the model ID of that model. So if you come here, you have this knowledge base created. Let us open this. I'll show you how to find the ID here. Let's select the model here, and we are choosing the Nava Pro. Okay, that is the model we want to choose. Anything you can choose, but the one which we are choosing is Nava Pro. Click that and click the view details. So if you click the view details, it's going to show the model ID. So now we are looking at the Nava Pro details. The model ID of the Nava Pro is here. Let us copy this. So put your model ID here. Make sure to follow the same syntax what I have provided above. Also, make sure to change the region, not only in this place, even there is a few more occasions in this code. Make sure to search for the whole code and change it. One of the important things which I wanted to talk about is, so when you choose the LLM, there are certain things you need to look for it, depending on the use case. Some LLM models are good for text, some are good for images, some are good for videos, some are good for audios. So if you open this model, you're going to find out what this model is suited for. So this is the one which can serve the multiple purpose. But if you choose a different model, that model may not work for images, that model may not work for videos. So just make sure to go and look at the overview before you decide which model is your use case. Now we have this Lambda code. Let's copy this code and paste it inside. So we're going to come back to the Lambda screen and paste it here. Okay, and deploy the code. So the code is out here, and we have put the parameters what we have. And let's go and create API gateway. So I'm going to the API gateway screen. So right now I have only one API, which was my old one. Let's create a new one for this session. We're going to do the REST API. Let us click the build here. It's a new API, and what is our API name? Our API name is going to be, this is the prefix, I will say API 1. And rest of the parameters, I'm going to choose the default and click create API. So the API is created. We got to do a few more things before we can make it ready. Let us create the resource here for the API gateway. What is our path? Here you can type in any path you want. I am putting my path as chatbot, and I'm checking the course button here for cross origin purposes. Create the resource. So this resource is created. Let us create method to do the next activity. We are going to create a method for post, and it's going to call the Lambda function. And I'm going to choose the Lambda proxy integration, the region you are in East 1, and what is our Lambda function, the one which we wanted to attach, which is the WS3. So WS3 is the Lambda function we want to attach. The rest of the one, I'm going to choose the default. I'm not going to be changing anything here. I'm just opening to make sure anything obvious there. There's nothing obvious there, so we will click create method. So we have created the API now. Let us go and deploy this API in order for it to run. So we have deploy API button here. Let's go and create the deploy API. Since this is the first time, we need to create a new stage and call this name anything you want. I'm calling it as a dev, and click the deploy. So now the API is ready to go. So let us quickly test in the Postman before we go and create the UI code. So I'm going to go to the Postman and let's do a quick test of this API. Now sometimes I've seen this API takes few seconds or many seconds before it can really work. So let us give a few more seconds. Until then, let's go and take a look at the UI code, the Streamlit code. So let's go and see the Streamlit code. The Streamlit code I have in my own laptop. If I open this, it is here. So it's not that long. It's probably about 3.5 pages. So it's a very simple, smaller code. We are going to change only one parameter here. This is the parameter we are going to change. Let us copy the code what we want to put here. The code we are going to be calling is the API URL, which is here. I'm going to copy this, come back to the code, and then paste it here. And of course, chatbot is our resource path name. We need to type it, and let us save this. We are going to save this file, save. So the Streamlit code is ready. So essentially this code is nothing but a basic, very simple UI. It'll take an input from the user in terms of the text, and it'll send it across by calling the API URL, and whatever the results coming back, it's going to display. That's what it is. Nothing fancy about it. So now let's go and do the Postman to make sure the API is ready before we can test the UI. I mean, since the UI code is ready, why don't we test directly the UI? Let's go and test it. Okay, so now we have the UI code. We need to run. Since it's a Python program, I'm going to run it as a Python program. So make sure you have a Python installed by looking at the version what you have. So I'm going to go to the command prompt, and I'm going to go to the directory where I'm going to run the Python program, which is this. So I have Python installed, and make sure you also install your Streamlit in this command. This is a command to install in your Windows, but I have already installed. I'm not going to run this command again. And we are going to run this Streamlit. This is how you run it. Let us go and run this command for our Streamlit code. So this is how you're going to be running your Streamlit. Once you run, it would open your browser in that port. So now it's automatically opening my browser, and this is the Streamlit code what we are going to be using today. I'm going to type this list all customers who are still teenagers. Send. Okay, so it returned an error saying that sorry, I have a trouble, error 502. Okay, let us debug and find out what happened. So if you look at the UI code here, let's make sure we have the right URL here. And let's see, K480, that is the URL here. Let's see, K480 is my URL here, K480. So we pasted the right one. So that seems to be okay. So let us test the Postman and see what is going on. We know somewhere it's failing. So let us make sure this Postman is working first. So I'm going to put the same URL what I'm going to be calling from there. And chatbot. And let's put the JSON question. We have to put the JSON question here. and send. Okay, so which means UA code is failing, even API is failing, so something is wrong in the API, not in the UA code. So let us see why it's failing. Let us take a look at the Lambda function here. The Lambda function, we know 3 parameters we have changed. Let's make sure we didn't make any mistakes there. If we scroll there, there are 3 parameters here. The knowledge base ID starts in XA, ends in K0. Let's make sure that's what we have. Knowledge ID is, okay, let us see the knowledge ID XA and K0. So we did have the right one. And of course, Nova Pro, that one we know clearly because it's here. The Nova Pro is here. The Nova Pro is here, model ID. And of course, East one, that is, of course, obviously right. So Lambda seems to be correct. What else could go wrong? I think I know the problem here. So one of the things where by default, Lambda, when you create, it creates a 3 seconds timeout. What does this mean? Lambda, if it doesn't complete the function in 3 seconds, it's going to end the Lambda. It will not wait. We all know the LLM models is taking more than 3 seconds, so make sure to change this to bigger number, whatever we need for the LLM model. So definitely we know for sure Lambda will time out because LLM models are taking more than 3 seconds. So let us assume this is fixing our issue. Let's save it. Now let's go and run the same command in the Postman. I'm running the same command in the Postman. Okay, good. I think that's what they should. So basically the Lambda was timing out from 3 seconds. Again, to recall what we did, if you go to the Lambda configuration, there's a timeout parameter here. So by default, it puts 3 seconds. We had 3 seconds, it was failing. We just changed to 30 seconds and now it is working. So let us go and run the UI and see whether it is working here. Good. All right, now it worked. So let's make sure the answer what it returned is correct. Noah Blaster Beam is the guy who is a teenager, which is the answer we have here. Noah Blaster Beam, which is correct. Let's make sure the other 2 questions are being answered correctly. We know it will because all the connections are going through. If the one transaction works, the next should work. It will work. Let's make sure. This is the second question. It should show one transaction, one customer, like what we saw earlier. So to make sure, let's put the same question inside the knowledge base. Let's go and test the knowledge base because it needs to answer the same way what it has here, at least the same answer. On demand, Nova Pro, and I'm going to put the same question here. So it is showing the account 04, one guy name, customer 3, Globe Squidward, that's what we have. Customer 3, Globe Squidward, that's the one customer whose account is inactive. Let's ask one more question to make sure this is robust and working fine. So we typed in the question here. In the meantime, let's go and type the same question inside to make sure both are matching in terms of the answers. So show me the transaction occurred within last 14 days. There's only one transaction, transaction number 12 for Zargon Stardust. So let us see the answer in the browser for the UI code show me all the transactions, which is transaction number 12 for these organ start this. So that is the correct answer. So which means the UI code is all working. So to summarize what we did a very basic, very simple end-to-end application. We have a UI code in Streamlit, and it goes and talks to the API gateway. Then API gateway is calling the Lambda, and the Lambda is calling the knowledge base. That's what we did. So that completes the end-to-end application of what we wanted to do a hands-on demo. Let us go and quickly take a look at the topology and see what we did in this workshop as well as the last two workshops to summarize. So here is the topology what we did in the workshop 1, blue box, workshop 2, yellow box, and the rest of the thing which is outside the box is what we did today. We created the Lambda function, we created API gateway, we created the Streamlit code in the browser, we made a connection to all, and we tested for one of these yellow boxes. Whatever we tested the yellow box. You could use the same UI code to connect your blue box and test it. I'm not covering it because pretty much it's the same thing. Instead of connecting to this knowledge base ID, you will connect to this knowledge base ID and it should work. What we covered is the RAG implementation of AWS for knowledge base with vector store, the knowledge base with structured data store, and then we put some small end-to-end application to run it from the browser. So that completes the session what we wanted to do the hands-on demo, guys. So there are a few more things which we wanted to explore as we go in the future. Let me quickly go and show what are the potential sessions we might plan for the next few videos. So now we are in the Bedrock screen. Let us see here some of the interesting things we want to explore. Is there's the agents here. This is where the real stuff, real action would happen, where we will create the agentic AI application, where we will have multiple agents. Each agent will have some dedicated assignments it will do, and there's a flows here where you can draw the picture of the architecture of your application, and there are guardrails. You can put some things, limitations, rules on what not to do, what to do. And similarly, there is also a agent core. If you click the agent core, there's one more menu here called agent core. So there is also a lot of potential for trying many things. This is mainly targeting how this can be production ready. This has got a lot of information, a lot of tools, a lot of functionality. So there's a lot more things are coming faster, and there's many things to learn. We will explore one by one in the next future videos. So with that, we are going to complete this session, and thank you guys for watching. We will see you in the next time.